awkward introduction. I'm going to try and be as passionate as Russell was earlier, and I want to talk to you all today about communication, more specifically developmental language disorders. So what is it and how does it relate to adolescents' mental health? Because I think this is something really important that we should all know about. So communication, we all do it every day in a variety of ways. We need it to express our wants, our feelings, our needs. We need to learn. So we wouldn't all be here, that is frozen, we wouldn't all be here tonight if it wasn't for some communication. But what happens when it goes wrong? I'm sure we've all had those experiences where you might feel frustrated, someone doesn't understand you, or maybe embarrassed that you've misinterpreted something. I know a friend who turned up late for a day work because he thought 10 to 3 meant 2:50 p.m. and not 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. But what I'm talking about today is language, and I want to make a distinction. So speech can be thought of as the individual sounds, the building blocks, and then put them all together is making up our language system. So that's the outcome, and it can be in a variety of different ways. Or in other words, speech, the sentence "this is a rabbit" with a speech disorder would possibly sound like "this is a rabbit," whereas language could be "ah is rabbit this." So it's the words in the wrong order. A very extreme example. More specifically, I want to talk about developmental language disorder. So it's something that people might not have heard of because it's had a variety of different names. This one itself just came about a couple of months ago, so I'm trying to get it out there. And it's something that affects 2 children in every 30 student class. That's about 7% of the population, which is 7 times more common than autism, but a lot of people, again, have not heard of this. Possibly because it's kind of like an invisible disability, if you will. So there's no hearing impairment, no language disorder, no autism diagnosis, but you might have difficulty with receptive language, so understanding language. You would have trouble following complex instructions, a bit like being in a different country where everyone's speaking another language that you don't understand. Or you could have, as well, expressive language problems. So this is the difficulties producing language, which I might have today in the speech. So you might have difficulty putting the right endings on words, using the right tenses, and that tip of the tongue feeling that we've all had where you know what you want to say but you just can't find the right word. And so recently there is some stuff in the press about, mostly from other speech and language therapists, trying to get out there, because there's been some longitudinal studies that have now seen the long-term effects of these language disorders. So not just in the classroom, but when you're in the classroom, obviously language, we now know early language difficulties do have an effect on later maths abilities at age 11. And if you're not being able to understand instructions from your teacher, you might look hyperactive or misbehaving. Later on in life, it's going to affect your employment. How many of us have seen an advert saying must have excellent communication skills? So these children are really going to have struggle later on in life as well. And together, these 2 things might impact their well-being and mental health, which is what this slide is supposed to represent. And that's the outcome I'm really looking at with my project. Because we know that children with these language impairments at a later time, they are more at risk for anxiety and depression, but what we don't know is how this relationship manifests. So that is me for the next 2 years with my thinking cap on trying to figure this out. So there are 2 main theories at the moment. The first one is a direct link. So you have the language difficulty, the children are adapting their behaviours, not understanding, maybe withdrawing or becoming aggressive, and therefore they have these poor mental health outcomes, so more anxiety or more depression. Or another explanation could be that they have this underlying comorbid difficulty, specifically social cognition. So this is the understanding of how people are interacting with others. So this could be mediating the relationship. And this is what I am trying to advocate for, because we do know that children with a language impairment at a younger age find it difficult to integrate with their peers. They might interact with adults more because language is inherently social, so they're not getting these skills. And then as they go on through into adolescence, when friendships move away from like playing with each other, it's more about language, sarcasm, it's higher order language. So they might have even more difficulties. And this is a period critical where these anxiety, depression feelings might manifest into something more serious, as psychiatric disorders. So what I'm going to do is take a bunch of these kids, compare them to typically developing kids, and give them some questionnaires about how they feel, give them some computer programs to test their social understanding. And I am still recruiting, so if anybody knows somebody who is 12 to 18 years old, blatant advertising here, who speaks English as a native language and doesn't have a hearing disorder, please email me because I need participants. Thank you.